One thing I kind of want to dive into is a big topic on Twitter here after the game. A lot of Purdue fans saying that, the only reason they lost is the refs. And Purdue Twitter right now is being one of the softest Twitter fan bases in the entire country. It's just getting a little ridiculous. I mean, myself personally, I've grown up with just as much Purdue in my life as I have Northwestern. They're 1 and 2 right there for me. I'm about as big a Purdue or Northwestern fan as you're going to come across. And to see Purdue Twitter acting like a bunch of babies is just really, really tough to see. Matt Painter in the post-game press conference, sure, you can have disagreements about how the calls were made, but he goes, you know what? Northwestern was the tougher team. They won this game for me. There's no the refs aren't the reason that Northwestern went on a 17-3 run here at the end of the game. Yep. And just to see all these tiny, tiny little things, 1 or 2 fouls here and there, and the Purdue Twitter fan base is acting like the world is crumbling and all this, and it's the worst ref performance in the entire history of basketball, is just ridiculous to see. And just honestly embarrassing as a fan base. It's honestly, to me, a fan base that I thought held themselves to a higher level. I always viewed, at least in the Big Ten, teams like Illinois, obviously for myself, Indiana, a team that's a little more psychotic on Twitter. But to see the Purdue Twitter really explode like that over the refs in a game where you had no offense. The refs are not the reason that Edey is the only person that did this. And it's just, to me, embarrassing to not give credit to this Northwestern team. You lose a game, it's not because of the refs. It's because Chase Audige is able to score 15 points in the last 10 minutes of this game. It's because Boo Boo is able to have a phenomenal performance the entire game, scoring 26. It's not because of 1 or 2 calls here and there. It's not because Chris Collins touched Fletcher Lawyer with 17 seconds left. That's not why. And it's just embarrassing for the Purdue fan base to be acting like that. And I know if Matt Painter saw how they were acting on Twitter and stuff like that, he'd be embarrassed. And I think they really could use a look at the post-game press conference from Painter to see that, there are some bad calls. Northwestern had some bad calls against them. Every team has bad calls against them. That's not why you lose the game. There's a few instances where that might be the case, like the Virginia game the other day where the guy was fouled with a half second left, right, and it was obvious, but they said it was after. There are a few cases of that. But at the end of the day, if you play better, you win. And that's what Northwestern did, and it's just embarrassing to see that Purdue Twitter is acting like it came down to, Courtney Green or whoever's reffing this game today.
Yeah, full stop, 100% agree with you. I think that the Purdue fans, are acting like babies on Twitter and online. I think that for me, honestly, it just makes the win that much more fun to be able to go on my Twitter feed and just see, literally dozens, hundreds of people from Purdue in comments, still kind of raging over that Fletcher Lawyer, maybe Collins touches him at the end of the game, which, by the way, they asked Matt Painter about that on his radio show, and he's like, I do not care. It's just, is what it is. It's a nothing burger, essentially. So I think it just makes the win that much more fun, and I think, if we want to be a team that, gets respect in this league, we don't want to be a place where opposing fans, feel welcome. I want Purdue fans to come to Welsh Ryan and feel like it's a hostile environment. And I think a game like that can absolutely help change that narrative for us. So, yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think even more on that, the refs in this game, which most people I think weren't super familiar with them, but 2 of the guys were in the Final Four last year. So, these are top caliber refs, as good as they come. So it didn't matter who the refs were. We were going to win that game with the way Chase played. Don't take anything away from Chase and Boo. Those guys had historic nights, right? Just incredible performances. There's no reason to take anything away from them.
There's a reason these refs are in the Big Ten. They're all in the Big Ten for a reason. If you want worse, we can all go down to the SWAC, and I guarantee there's going to be a lot worse officiating. Yeah. You just don't see it. The grass is always greener. Grass is always greener.
100%. These people have to work their way up a long way to get to the Big Ten, and I'm fine with keeping refs accountable, but at the end of the day, most of them are pretty good, I think.